Good morning. Good morning. I am Ryan McGough with Telecom and Telecom Investments. Welcome to the channel and thank you for being here. If I can give you something and have given you something, please like and subscribe and share this video with other people so that I can spread the message and carry the word to other people. And I am the bodybuilding businessman and investor. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate the time and getting to give you some information. Today, I'm going to talk about from Telecom, my tech company, my telecom company. I'm going to talk a little bit about getting from subcontracting right into prime contracting. Now, when we start up, usually and generally, it's just about going and getting business, bringing business in. I always talk about you have your what's right in front of your face. You have your, 6 months to a year. You have your 5 years plus. You have to have those phases of planning, right? For a lot of reasons. You have to have it for yourself to know if you're on track. You have to have it if you want to get any kind of business loan or you want to pitch or present to anybody. You're definitely going to have some real projections that you go off of, right? Valuations. But how do you evaluate your or how do you say how much your company's worth and evaluate that whole process of where you're at 10 years down the road, where you're at now, what your valuation of your company is, and what your projections are to get you there. But not only for all that, we want to do that to know where we're at and where we're going. So a lot of times it's just about getting the first bids, the first projects, the first, just get some successful projects done, right? Whatever that is, whatever the network wants to give you, wants to allow you with. And usually those are subcontracts, and you go to the people who you've worked for and worked under most of the time, right? The only problem, and there's no problem, there's plenty of companies that do that and just exist as a subcontractor, a third tier, fourth tier contractor, right? For example. But it's very hard to, you get a lot of projects that are tougher, right? That they didn't want to handle or they're too busy to handle, so they pass it off. A lot of times it comes with, a problem that's already happened with them and their contractor, and now they want to hand it off. And sometimes, unfortunately, it comes with they want to hand off the blame to somebody else too. It's a very great possibility that is the case. So there's some kind of bad relationship or reason for handing it off, and it usually comes with not so great terms, right? That are really not the things you want, and you don't get much control or say in that environment. So it's harder to succeed in that. And a lot of times, relationships get burned, or you don't come with the product that they wanted, or you come and your company has a way of doing things. You take holidays off, you take, some of these other things, and they're like, no, we take no holidays on this job, this and that. And you always point back to your contract that you scheduled. And a lot of times it's just like they didn't read it, or there's a lot of things. So the point I'm trying to make is we existed and did that type of work in the beginning first year, right? And it was good. It paid the bills. We had a profit. We have all these things, all these metrics that we wanted to look for, right? As a first, second year company. And that's all really positive and really good. Our spending of operating expenses, materials, all those, versus the income, ended to be a surplus that we could at least put back into the company in some way. And, obviously as a first year company starter, you pay yourself a very minimal salary, less than I did when I was a director or, even a project manager. And then you just, take your quarterly profits and it's all done. You're building something for the long haul as opposed to just, paying myself $100,000 a year. Like I'm first year, I'm going to pay myself that and see what happens. So, you have to take the profits as they come and all that. So there's a lot that comes with starting a company with that whole process, right? And getting contracts, stacking wins, right? Getting relationships, putting down that we were a part of all these different projects, but in a lot of times outgrowing the companies that we're working for, right? You know, they have a small section and a small idea of what they're looking for. And we have the idea of being big prime contractors and, you know, setting some new technology and future technology right into the world. And that's also a big part of why we're in the real estate and all that, right? Because they both have the path of both of them to be a, you know, wireless integrator, right? What we want to do, right? Creating mesh networks within the city that extend to the rural, and creating more wireless networks and wireless infrastructure than the wired infrastructure we live off of today. So there's that future goal, right? And so to be online, to manage that goal, to get to that goal, to reach that goal, it's not going to be in the subcontracting, right? Now we need to just get from going and getting projects, right? Because we need projects to exist. We need revenue to exist, right? We don't take capital at my company. We didn't take capital. So it's all bootstrapped, right? Which is an interesting model to do that. But we do that because I have multiple streams of income to be able to offset the time between projects in the beginning phases as the pipeline's not as full. So a lot of stuff about us and how we do it, which you kind of need a little bit of a backstory to understand, you know, what I'm talking about when I talk about going from subcontracted projects and contracts into prime, right? Where now the prime needs different types of insurance, needs maybe bonds or a proposal, right, that's written, right? And along that line, we're going more and strategizing more into the government contracting role, right? Because obviously, if you're going to be in line to create a mesh network in a city, there may be, you know, a government contract that's asking for that. And so I actually am seeing some new government contracts that are coming out that are talking about a futuristic research and development contract of a wireless infrastructure with mesh points and all these pretty cool things. So I am starting to see those come out. So it's letting me know, okay, we're starting to think about this new infrastructure together, right? And we want this on the forefront. So as a company that wants to do that in the future, we need to get out of being subcontracting, right? Where we're just fulfilling contracts, into being the prime and a company that's positioned to do that. But it takes a lot of growth. It takes a lot more money, more capital, and all of that. So we're doing it with the resources we have, but we're thinking about going after writing these proposals up and then seeing what comes back. Okay, where did we lack? What weren't we capable of? Oh, was our insurance not capable of doing that? We don't have bonds. We don't have that. So we're getting into the transitioning phase between that, which requires more growth and more capital, right? But we still need some residual things to come in as we, you know, poise ourselves into that. So we're going after smaller prime contracts that might be more fit for us with the right terms or negotiable terms, right? We don't have a bond term. We can do retainage or something of that nature. So that's where we're at in the telecom front, and it's a very interesting thing. We're seeing a lot of cool research and development along the lines of this idea that we want to have and present. So we are going after those, but we still are very small in our you know, second year, third year of development. So it's this kind of, you know, you have to do what you got to do to just bring in projects and stack wins, but then focusing on the future as to we need to be here and be a prime to really be where we want to be. And so it's a very transitional time period. So that's where we're at within telecom. If this has been helpful into prime contracting versus subcontracting and how to get out of that, you know, like and subscribe. And the knock on the door means the babies are home. So I'm going to go let them in and talk to them. So thanks, Ryan McGough, the bodybuilding businessman and real estate investor, coming at you from Telecom, telecommunications company and wireless infrastructure company. Peace.